What if the person you fell in love with had a terrifying family secret, not a criminal record, not a troubled past, but a parent who was a serial killer? Would you still marry them? Would you worry about your future children? Would you wonder if violence could be hiding somewhere in their DNA? It's a question that makes many people uncomfortable. Because deep down, most of us ask the same thing. Can evil be inherited? Today, we're diving into the science behind genetics, criminal behavior, and one of the most controversial questions imaginable. Is it safe to marry the child of a serial killer? The answer may surprise you. The fear of bad blood for centuries, humans believed criminal behavior ran through bloodlines. Ancient societies often punished entire families for the crimes of one person. The idea was simple. If a father was dangerous, his children must be dangerous too. Even today, that belief still exists. When people hear that someone is the son or daughter of a murderer, many immediately become suspicious. Questions begin to form. What if they're secretly violent? What if they inherited their parents' darkness? What if their children become killers too? It's a natural fear, but science paints a very different picture. Because despite what movies and crime dramas suggest, there is no such thing as a serial killer gene. There is no serial killer gene. Let's get something clear immediately. Scientists have never discovered a gene that turns someone into a serial killer. No gene exists that automatically makes a person murder. No DNA test can identify future serial killers. Human behavior is simply too complex. Violence isn't controlled by a single switch hidden inside our genetic code. Instead, researchers have discovered something far more complicated. Certain genes may increase the likelihood of aggressive behavior, but they do not guarantee it. Think of genetics like a loaded deck of cards. You might start the game with certain advantages or disadvantages, but how the game unfolds depends on countless other factors. Environment, experiences, relationships, trauma, education, and most importantly, personal choices. The so-called warrior gene, one genetic variant, often appears in discussions about violence. It's known as MAOA-L, sometimes sensationalized by the media as the warrior gene. This gene affects how the brain processes neurotransmitters linked to emotion and impulse control. Research suggests individuals carrying this variant may be more prone to aggression under certain circumstances. But here's the crucial detail many people ignore. Most people with the MAOA-L variant never commit violent crimes. Many live completely normal lives. They become teachers, doctors, parents, business owners, friends, law-abiding citizens. The gene alone doesn't determine behavior. In fact, studies repeatedly show something fascinating. People with the MAOA-L variant who experience stable and supportive childhoods often display no unusual aggression at all. Which brings us to the most important factor in the entire discussion: environment. Nature vs. nurture. For decades, scientists have debated one question: what shapes human behavior more, nature or nurture, genes or environment? The answer turns out to be both. Behavioral genetics research suggests that genetic factors account for roughly 40 to 60% of differences in antisocial behaviors. That's significant. But it also means genetics are only part of the story. The remaining influence comes from environmental factors. Things like childhood abuse, neglect, violence at home, chronic stress, trauma, social isolation, substance abuse, and exposure to criminal behavior. In many serial killer cases, investigators uncover horrifying childhood experiences: physical abuse, emotional neglect, severe trauma, humiliation, violence. These experiences often interact with existing vulnerabilities. The result can be a dangerous combination, not because genetics forced it, but because multiple risk factors collided. What about the children of serial killers? Now let's address the question directly. If someone is the child of a serial killer, should you worry? Scientifically speaking, no more than you would worry about anyone else based solely on genetics. The actions of a parent do not determine the character of a child. History provides countless examples. Many children of notorious criminals have grown into responsible, compassionate adults. Some dedicate their lives to helping victims. Others become educators, counselors, or advocates for mental health. Some spend years actively rejecting the values and behaviors of their criminal parents. Why? Because human beings possess something far more powerful than genetics. Choice. Every individual develops their own identity, their own moral framework, their own decisions, their own path. The crimes of a parent do not automatically become the destiny of their children. The real challenge, trauma, ironically, the greatest concern isn't usually genetics. It's trauma. Imagine discovering your father was responsible for multiple murders. Imagine seeing your family name attached to horrific headlines. Imagine dealing with public judgment, shame, fear, and isolation. The psychological burden can be enormous. Many children of serial killers struggle with anxiety, depression, trust issues, identity crises, post-traumatic stress, social stigma. These challenges are real, and unlike genetic speculation, they're supported by direct experience. Growing up connected to extreme violence can leave deep emotional scars, but trauma doesn't make someone dangerous. It means they may need support, healing, understanding, and sometimes professional therapy. Can a healthy upbringing override genetic risk? The evidence strongly suggests yes. Psychologists consistently find that supportive environments can dramatically reduce behavioral risks. Children raised with love, structure, positive role models, emotional support, healthy relationships, and strong moral guidance often thrive regardless of genetic predispositions. Even when biological risk factors exist, they are not destiny. The brain remains highly adaptable. Humans can learn emotional regulation, impulse control, empathy, conflict resolution.